Sardinians set sail for Corsica. We now have to cross one of the smallest straits in the Mediterranean, the Straits of Fornelli in northern Sardinia. At its narrowest, it's about 100 meters wide and only 3 meters deep. This makes us think of Scylla and Hebrides, where Ulysses almost lost his life and had to cross it twice. According to Homer, Ulysses had to choose between passing near Scylla, the six-headed monster who would eat up part of his crew, or go near the rocks and be swallowed up by the black whirlpool of Hebrides. Luckily for us, we passed safely, and now we are headed for Corsica, whom the ancient Greeks used to call Kaliste, which means the most beautiful, a name that this island still claims proudly.
Mi tiempo cabe aquí, sé que no he de preguntarte si quieres venir.
We are in the mouth of Bonifacio, where the wind always blows. The strait between Sardinia and Corsica is full of dangerous shoals, and the winds can get quite strong. Many a ship have floundered here. We are approaching the fortress port of Bonifacio, where one can also see the famous white cliffs, with the houses precariously perched on the very top.
Sueño con volver,
This, in fact, looks very much like Homer's description of the Laestrygonian port, where Ulysses lost his fleet to the giants who from the cliff top threw huge boulders on their ships and then ate the crew. Corsica, like Sardinia, once belonged to the Spanish crown of Aragon and has a long history of fierce resistance. The Spaniards were never able to conquer this rebel island, and many a ship lay at the bottom of this port. We, however, come in peace, and since we also have a Majorcan flag, people treat us kindly. They recognize us as fellow islanders. The similarities between the islands of Majorca, Menorca, Sardinia and Corsica are striking. They all share a megalithic tower building culture called turri, which also happens to be the origin of the name Tyrrhenian, for the Tyrrhenian Sea. This tower building culture goes back to 2000 BC and probably started in Sardinia. In the village of Filitosa, in Corsica, we can still see many ancient rock statues which represent armed warriors from the Bronze Age.
Los antiguos corsos, que eran practicaban una cultura megalítica especial e incluso unos menires, especialmente unos menires con figura antropomórfica, con representaciones humanas. Y en ese momento, estos menires empiezan a representar guerreros, cosa que antes no veíamos, guerreros armados, donde se representan a estos guerreros, cascos con cuernos, espadas de bronce con una empuñadura de forma como triangular, espadas relativamente cortas, que coinciden exactamente con espadas encontradas en Costitx, por ejemplo, en Mallorca, en Menorca, en Córcega y en Cerdeña.
These are stone portraits of Chardin warriors, which came to this peaceful island in about 1800 or 1500 BC and conquered it. Some archaeologists believe that these statues represent the military leaders who invaded the island, and that they were done in order to trap their spirits so that they would never come back to life. One of the most striking things is the similarity there is between these stone statues and the carvings found in the Egyptian temple of Medinet Habu, where Ramses III celebrated his victory over the Sea People, who had already torched and razed most of the civilized city-states of Greece and the Middle East.
Los Sardana en principio parece ser, son los que más veces salen citados en las fuentes egipcias, como invasores, como aliados, como mercenarios de los egipcios, y los primeros testimonios parece que se remontan a la primera entrada de los Ixos, estamos hablando del 1800 a.C. Volvemos a encontrarlos en fuentes clásicas griegas en la ocupación por los misénicos, por los aqueos, de Creta. O sea, en el fin de la civilización minoica tenemos también constancia de la presencia de los Sardana, de los Shardana, Sardán, como aliados de los aqueos.
There's little doubt that the Shardanas, who were part of the Federation of the Sea People and went to their death with a sardonic grin, are the Sards of today's Sardinia. The Federation of Sea People brought on the Dark Centuries, which lasted from the fall of Troy in 1200 until the 8th century BC, when Homer wrote the Odyssey. There are many more questions than answers in our quest, but let's keep on sailing towards the Pontine Islands and the Straits of Messina, where Ulysses left his mark. Join us on our journey south through the Straits of Messina.